All right. And we are live. I surprised myself a little bit there. All right, kill the music and get rolling. Welcome to episode 18. 18 episodes already of Co-Video Live TV. We've got a couple of guests lined up for you tonight on a Friday night. I hope everybody's feeling good, doing good, feeling well on a Friday night. Not a typical Friday night. Probably not heading out to bars. There are no bars to go to. Perhaps you and your family are down at your bar if your kids are of legal age. If you have a bar in your house, one particular place that you might have been on a Friday night would be the establishment owned by my next guest, a good friend of mine. He's known me since the 1970s, I presume. Is that about right? Let's say a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Stan Stefanski from Big Frank Sausage. Hello, Stan.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, I was saying in the intro there that we might find, you would have a packed bar on a Friday night. I'm sure frying up some fish for the Catholics and potato pierogi and all the good things, right?
It's definitely hurting the bar business, but we got to do what we got to do to survive. That's the way it goes, Ron. It's just right now you have to improvise, you have to adapt, and you have to overcome. That's it. I'm not a military guy, but I'm just following what the military does.
All right.
And you have to survive. That's all I could say in this. And what's going on? I mean, just telling this out or just getting this out. Who would have ever thought this would have happened? I mean,
2 weeks
really.
ago. No, 3 weeks ago, who would have thought it?
I mean, it's just amazing the way 1 minute everybody's partying, everybody's having a good time, and then the next thing you know, I'm watching basketball and Mark Cuban's on the air saying that the NBA's canceled, and then the next thing you know, baseball cancels, the NCAA cancels. It's just amazing the turn of events within like 2 weeks.
From a restaurant bar owner's perspective, it couldn't happen at a worse time. The March Madness is a huge ongoing thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I got ATVs, and I was planning. A lot of my regulars come in. We watch our games. I'm an IU graduate. We're going to watch IU, and Purdue wasn't going to make it this year, but it didn't matter. We want to watch the Big Ten tournament, and hopefully, Butler was going to do good. And I mean, what a turn of events to cancel everything and just put a damper on the excitement. Besides the Super Bowl, or I should say NFL playoffs, March Madness is my second favorite time of the year.
Yep. Hey, let me pause our conversation for a moment, say hello to some of the first people that signed on. Mark Sharp is here. Jessica Roberts is there. Suzanne Smolin, Yakshamash. Suzanne, what's going on? She says, where is Tammy? Last night, Stan, if you caught the episode, I had Tammy on as my co-host. We did a little episode, but she's feeling a little under the weather. No, I'm just kidding. And that does remind me, Stan, for your safety and my other guests, I do have to take my temperature real quick here to make sure that it's safe to go on. 98.5. I'm running cool.
Okay. Thank God you're putting it on your head.
Yeah, that's right. You know what the difference is between a rectal thermometer and an oral thermometer? The taste.
What's that?
The taste. So, what a transition. Speaking of taste and food, so a restaurateur as yourself needs to be on their toes, and those who weren't ready to switch to the takeout model were probably left a little behind, huh?
Well, as we were discussing before, I've had a good carryout business. I've had a strong carryout business. My business before this happened was 45% bar, 55% food. And out of the 55% of the food, it was probably about 25% carryout, which obviously right now it's 100% carryout. So we're hanging in there strong. I've got a good establishment where I get repeat customers. You have your ups and downs. You're going to have your slow periods. But right now we're averaging anywhere between 55 to 60% of sales, which is doing actually very well considering the circumstances.
Yeah, considering those that have dropped to zero. I don't want to get too deep into what your operating expenses are, but I imagine for some people there's some minimum where they're digging into savings. They're not paying themselves. They're cutting out as the owner, right?
Yeah, the thing is, Ron, is you have to be prepared. I've been in business going on 9 years. You always have to have money on the side. You always have to say, for example, walk-in freezer goes out, a walk-in cooler goes out, a ice maker goes out, or you got a roof leak. You got to have money put to the side for these. I always call them extra out of the ordinary events.
Yeah.
But of course, this is something that's out of the ordinary. But my thing is I know how to budget my finances. You can't overspend what you have. You got to be very conservative on your spending when you're running a restaurant. I don't care how long you've been in business. When you want to do improvements, when you want to do upgrades, only in your budget. Don't exceed what you can't afford. And my parents taught me the old school: pay your bills first. And then if you have a little bit of money, enjoy it, but pay those bills off. And I've been very fortunate to do a lot of those, old school tactics, paying my bills off. So, I've got some money put away. I haven't touched the savings. It's going to be a while, but yeah, we're doing well. I'm very thankful for my support of my customers and my clientele. I've got a very strong knit base. A lot of repeat customers, and they're supporting. And we have our ups and downs still, and we cut the hours. We're only open 6 days, 11 to 8, Monday through Saturday. We were open 7 days. So, this way I look at it. We got about 7-8 weeks more of this, maybe longer. If we're doing what we're doing right now, we're going to survive. Now, if it starts going down a little bit, I will have to improvise, do some things to generate business. I do a lot of social media. I do a lot of advertising at WJOB and a lot of other places. And of course, your interview is going to help me out too. But you have to be on your toes, like you said, in this type of business.
Are you changing your approaches? Are you targeting different people? I don't know what you could do once Lent is over. I know there's been a lot of carry out for fried fish. People don't really want to be doing fried fish at home, but who have you been targeting, or how have you been adjusting your advertising or messaging?
Well, what I've been doing is from my understanding, unfortunately, a lot of the places that serve fish, like, for example, the nonprofits, the churches, are not having the fish fries because they can't have the big groups and people sit down. So I've been pushing a lot of social media, Instagram and Facebook, and it's worked. It's definitely worked. Now, next week should be very strong because we have a deli section. We're going to sell a lot of sausage. We're going to sell a lot of pierogi, a lot of Polish foods. After that, that's going to be the challenge. Next week's going to be strong. I'm already anticipated. Not normal sales, but we're going to do good. And then after that, I got to come up with something. You always have to come up with something to bring the people in.
How are I know you're in contact with your suppliers of alcohol and food, and what are they saying? I mean, how are they getting by? And they don't have customers either, right? And what are they doing?
Well, I have one major distributor, and they distribute about 90% of my product. And right now it's at 100%. I am avoiding any kind of food store. Before I go to the local food store, I need a gallon of milk. I need some water or something like that. Now I'm just getting everything from the distributor. I don't want to go into the food stores at this point. I am trying to isolate as much as possible, just like anybody else. My routine is I wake up in the morning, I go to the bank, I go to the restaurant, and I come back from the restaurant, I go home. We clean after each customer that comes in there. I won't allow more than 2 customers in there at a time. They got to be 6 feet away. As soon as I'm done with them, I wash my hands. We got bleach and we got the Lysol, and we're taking this very serious because I don't want to get sick. Nobody wants to get sick. My staff doesn't want to get sick. So you have to. I hate to say this, but each and every customer, you don't know if they got the disease or not, so you got to treat them like that.
They don't know either. That's the whole thing. They may have picked it up earlier today, and they wouldn't see anything to 5 to 10 or 14 days. Yeah.
Right. So we got to be very cautious. We wipe the door handles. The health inspector told us what to do. He said it could transfer on money, could transfer on the credit cards. It could transfer, touching door handles, glass, plastic. The bathroom doors, you got to be very careful. We clean and clean and clean. Now, whether that's going to work or not, who knows? Now they're saying something about wearing masks. I don't know what's going on with it. But the only thing we could do is do our precautions and reassure that our customers that we are definitely watching out for, this virus.
Have you noticed out commuting back and forth to the place, more or less people out on the roads?
I want to say in the morning, less people for sure, because I usually get there about 9:45, 9:30, 9:45. During the evening, like I just came home and I just took a peek over Columbia Avenue on the Borman, and there's still a lot of traffic out there. But a lot of people are staying at home. There's no question about it. Yeah, it's especially I notice more on Sundays and Saturdays. It seems like really people are just staying in their houses. So that's why I decided to shut on Sunday, because I figure, they can't go to church. They're not going to go for the breakfast places, and I just decided for myself and for my staff, we need to take one day off and just to recoup, because this is a lot of stress for everybody.
I hear you. Hey, I don't know if I mentioned it. You're located in East Chicago up there in Roxana, not too far from the South Shore station on Michigan, right? Or Carroll. It's on Carroll?
Well, it's Michigan. We're just west of the
Uh-oh. Yeah, your audio is messing up a little bit there, Stan. All right, sorry about that. We back? Tell you what, I'm going to dial Stan back up again real quick here. This should be just 1 second, because I do want to give him that and finish off with him here. So let me bring Stan back in the call and reset everybody. Are you back with us, Stanley?
Yes, sir. You hear me, Ron?
Yeah, coming through okay. All right, let me just bring the guest back in. Like you said, you got to adapt, you got to change, and you got to work with what you got. Yesterday, we had a complete power outage.
Wow. Yeah.
So you were saying where you were located there in East Chicago, Stan?
We're going in and out. We're getting a lot of phone calls for the restaurant that we can't hear them. We tell them to call back several times. It's some, I don't know if it's overuse or what's going on.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about that. The bandwidth is maybe just not there, or the systems aren't in place to handle everybody that's working from home, everybody that's doing the Zoom or the Skype, me doing my show, people keeping in touch with grandma or relatives, or doing game nights together. There's a lot of internet use out there.
Yeah, and we've had one of our fellow classmates called 3 times, and he says we're hanging up. I said no, we're not hanging up. Couldn't hear you, and so he called 3 times, and the third time we picked it up, we got the order through.
So anything that you want to, we're right about the halfway mark here, where I told you I would take your time, about 15 minutes of. Anything that you want to promote that you got going on there?
Well, yeah, of course, Easter is a big week for us. We're going to have our Polish Easter soup all next week, which is going to be the hard-boiled eggs, the ham, the sausage, the horseradish, the bread, and the vinegar. I don't know if you ever had that, Ron. It's called święconka. It's our Polish Easter soup. We sell a lot of that. And then we're going to have our Polish sausage, our pierogi, our stuffed cabbage, the full Polish menu, the deli. We should have a good week. Now, I do have to tell customers, please call in your orders for your deli for Easter. Do not come in there and shop, because I can't have more than 2 people in there. You're going to have to be 6 feet apart. I don't want people putting their hands on the deli counter. We have to have precautions on this. I've been posting it on Facebook. So next week's going to be a strong week. There's no doubt in my mind. Is it going to be as strong as normal? No, absolutely not. If we do 50% of my normal sales on the Easter week, I'll be very happy. Then we have Good Friday will be our last fish fry. And then we're going to do some promotions. I'm going to come up with some good ideas. Now, we are also doing carry-out beer. We could do growlers with the Okocim, which is our Polish #1 selling beer. And we sell bottles of beer, too, to go. So if you want to come in and you want to do carry-out, obviously you can. Now, I do have the advantage of a lot of other places. You are allowed in my establishment to shop because of the deli counter, but we want to keep it 1 or 2 people, and we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. So please, like I said, call your orders in, and then we'll have everything wrapped for you. We'll have ready to go. You in and out in a minute. So we don't have 20 people in there. Like last Friday, we had to ask people to stay outside because we had 6 or 7 people coming in at once. We can't have that.
All right.
So we got to get through next week. After we get through next week, I'm going to pick my brain and see what promotion I can go. Usually, like this time of the year where we got baseball around the corner and it's starting to get warmer, but we don't have that, unfortunately. So we're going to have to figure something out. I'll come up with something. I mean, I always do, and there's no doubt in my mind. We'll continue. We're going to be here for a long time. I plan on this happening 2-3 months down the road, like what it is right now. So, you just have to come up with ideas. That's all I could say.
Got it. Hey, Stan, when you're watching the replay of this, you'll see over in the chat, one person saying, can I get it in Tennessee? Can you ship to Tennessee, and do you ship to North Carolina?
I sure do. You call the restaurant at 219-378-9556, and I go FedEx. I'll package it, You tell me what you want, I'll package it for you. Well, I'll be honest, it's going to cost you money to ship. There's no doubt about it. So
Stan, I lost you there on the audio. I don't know what's going on. It popped right out. So I'm going to dial it down right here. Thank you for appearing. Give me a thumbs up if you hear me still. All right. Thanks, Stan. I'm going to drop you off right there. Thanks for joining us. That's Stan Stefanski from Big Frank Sausage in East Chicago. What he was saying there at the end is that he will ship. He can ship. Give the shop a call. He'll hook you up. And but it's going to be some freight depending on where it ends up, of course. Hey, we're going to roll up the logo here and get on to our second guest. Hang in there. Episode 18, Co-Video Live TV goes on. All right, and we are back. Let me dial down. He's just wiping some of the mustard off his face from the Big Frank Sausage, fully stocked green room there. We got that all. You got some kraut between your teeth there. Okay, so from the virtual green room, we're going to bring in our second guest of the night on this Friday night, episode 18. Let's give a big Co-Video Live TV welcome to a good friend and bandmate, Matt Sharp. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Ronnie. How's everything going?
The usual. Let me just, you might not have seen the show earlier, the early part of the show, but let me just do another temporal scan here. And just for your safety, Matt, 99.1. Probably I got a little worried because the audio on the previous guest was messing up a little bit. How you doing? You looking good?
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
All right, yeah. That they say that the feeling with the hand is pretty good. Mom's hand is about as good, but we prefer accuracy here. Accuracy in the information, accuracy in the temperature readings.
Yeah, the way things are going now, we're all just kind of winging it.
Exactly. Nobody's been here before. That is kind of the theme through all 18 of our episodes. We've never done this before. My daughter, going back a month now, said, "What did you guys do the last pandemic?"
Wasn't there for that one.
My first. So Matt is, I brought Matt on for two reasons, because I think he's funny, and he looks a little funny too, but we're also in a band together. We have some good times when we can get together and play. But I also wanted to get his perspective as a critical part of the logistics system in the United States here, working for a major package delivery company in the United States. How was that, tiptoeing through the tulips, Matt?
Yeah, that was good. That should keep me employed.
Right. So how is it going at your employer?
You know what? We're a large location, and we're doing everything that CDC says, but it's all just kind of weird, just the same as it is everywhere. It's strange times, but we're getting the job done.
Mm-hmm. So you are not, you mentioned you're not out on the front lines, end of line or the last mile or whatever they call it. Yet still, you're in a large enough facility. You're with hundreds of people all at once, and it's a dance, right? It's a dance to stay away from people and kind of act like things are going normal, right?
Exactly that. We are what would be called middle mile. Mm-hmm. We're the ones that make sure that the people that are bringing you stuff to your house have that stuff to bring to your house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier. It could be whatever. It could be Ron's useless live streaming connectors, splitters, whatever junk. It could be critical, disinfecting that, masks, things for people in life-threatening situations or deliveries to whomever, right? Hospitals, all of the above. So you mentioned it. You try to stay focused on the important stuff, but it's a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, we're not going to discriminate against any package, because something that somebody needs to stay alive, that's going to get importance. but maybe it's something that somebody needs just to keep them going.
Mhm.
You know, something to make them happy. And it's strange times right now. So, you know, sometimes a package of happiness is what gets somebody through the day.
Are you seeing, to the extent that you can comment, are you seeing larger volumes? I mean, it seems like people are stuck at home, and maybe those who've never tried shopping at home, or maybe people are forced to shop from home. Are you seeing more traffic, more cardboard boxes?
I'm no, actually not. I think with the way the country is being shut down right now, that there's so many small, medium businesses that can't get their products out there. It seems that the volume is not what it used to be, but I just have a feeling that the volume that is going through is a little more critical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it clearly marked on the outside of the package, deliver me first or anything like that?
No, and there's no skull and crossbones on anything or anything like that. It's just you figure people that aren't working right now, that are laid off, aren't going to be buying unnecessary things.
Right.
So, and like I said, we don't discriminate against packages.
Right.
Whatever it is the most important thing to whoever that's going to. And we treat them all the same. We want to get everything to everybody when they want it. And if somebody wants Stan's beer in North Carolina, that's just as important as somebody that wants something moved out to Minnesota.
To within the extent of the laws of those states. Right.
Yeah. Well, there are laws we have to follow, but
right. So along the, I hate to turn it somber, but what is the story with, I mean, coronavirus persisting on the outside of packages? I mean, what's the official guidance in the industry?
Honestly, is wash your hands, wear a mask. That's what they're saying now. I see a lot of that. We try to treat everything, wearing gloves, making sure we're staying clean and trying to socially distance ourselves. That's kind of the hard part. That is just what we're expected to do. And we've been just doing the best we can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing any, I don't know, again, to the extent that you can answer this in general, are people that are out on the front lines, are you seeing any uptick in call-offs or shortages of people working extra hours to cover for people that are either ill or afraid to work?
I think there is a concern out there, and it's not just in our industry. I mean, there's concern amongst nurses. There's a lot of concern out there and I mean, not to equate what we do with the nurses, especially. There's a lot of concern that we don't know if it's good information or if it's just, the unknown is what it is, I guess. And we're all just kind of feeling our way through it. And that concerns a lot of people. I'm not seeing a lot of that, but I know there's a lot of concern as far as the call-offs go and stuff. I'm not seeing that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always in the back of everybody's mind of what's going on, especially when you've got a lot of people in a building.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So when you do get home at night, I know you like to play guitar. You play guitar in the band with me and your brother and Ted Calvin, a prior guest on the show. That's the reference here in the comments here. Mark Sharp saying it's officially Unhappy Hour. That was one of our possible band names, Unhappy Hour, which was kind of a stretch on the amount of songs that we know because we're just shy of an hour, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have you been playing guitar, learning anything new, or what you watching YouTube videos, blistering up, putting the calluses back on the fingertips, or what?
You know what? I can never let those go away. It's one of the things that I do to just kind of, I guess, I'm socially isolating myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I can do and just relax and stop thinking about everything that's going on.
Yeah. Wow. I know. For me, it's interesting. I've said it before. The anxiety levels get a little high, but once I get in front of the lights and in the little studio here and we start talking and sharing, it does go to help me. What is going to help a little bit is to run out in the backyard and sit by a fire that we have going on, assuming that it's still going and assuming that only the wood is burning and not anyone's clothes, because my kids are out there right now. So,
Hey, I think that's gasoline.
oh,
You can always get it.
no, since a young age, they know gas is only a fuel. It's not a fuel for fires. It is a fuel to run vehicles. That's about it. So hopefully there's a s'more left for me out there. Matt, anybody you want to say hello to, or any books that you're plugging or something?
You know what? I've got nothing to plug. I just hope that everybody gets through this okay and we move on and get back to the point of being able to hug each other.
Amen. Amen to that. I really don't have much more to add to that. Matt, here, big hug to you through the camera.
All right.
All right. With that, I'm going to roll off the audio and say goodbye. See you, Matt. Thanks for
All
joining
right,
us.
take care, Rob.
Bye.
You bet. Thanks for having me, man.
All right. So Matt is gone. And with that, we are wrapping up our episode 18 of Co-Video Live TV. It's been a busy week here. It definitely has been a busy week. We've had a variety of guests on. Going back from today with Stan from Big Frank Sausage, we had Matt Sharp on. Yesterday's show featured my first co-host appearance by my wife, who was on board. We'd had a little teachers and educators, Ryan Eckhart and Melissa Dickelman were on to talk about e-learning and such. Medical decision modeling was on. My brother Harry was on a couple days back with Ted Calvin, a respiratory therapist. We had Renee Scarce following up, a repeat guest, getting some of the story of life during war times on the home front. Jim Kingan checked in from Colorado, gave some perspective from his employer, Southwest Airlines. We heard again from a repeat guest from the front lines as well, an emergency room nurse, Kim Biggerstaff. And Disco Dawn Chaya did check in with her daughter Claire just to see what's going on in the supermarkets on the front lines as well. So we're trying to keep it real. Going back one day before that as well, I got a note here. We did talk to my friend Rodrigo for his perspective from New Jersey and what's going on in Jersey and near New York, also back in Italy where his parents and friends are living. And finally, Seattle, Washington with my niece. Hope I didn't bore you with that recap. I just wanted to try and promote the previous shows. Could be a good opportunity over the weekend to binge watch back through episode 2. Episode 1 was only on Facebook. We're going to try and bring back some of the guests. We're going to bring in some new guests. I really don't have much more to add than that other than be safe. Look forward to seeing you episode 19. Good chance that episode 19 is going to occur on Sunday. Looks like we're going to take the day off on Saturday. Don't be booing in the comments, but spent a little more family time. I put a lot of hours into the studio here, and looks like we're going to resume broadcasting on Sunday with an episode. We're going to try some different things, always be improving, and look forward to that. Hope to see you all then. Where is my dial? Let's bring up that bumper music. Thank you, Mike Carmen, our musical director, for putting that together. We will see you all when we see you all. Episode 19, probably Sunday. Take care. Be safe. Oh, one more thing. Good friend of mine, Jimmy P. This is personal. A good friend of mine, Jimmy P., is in the hospital with the COVID. The closest person I know to be suffering from that. So all the best to Jim and his wife and his family as they continue to isolate within their own home and try to provide comfort and support to Jim, who is currently hospitalized. So with that, I'm going to roll out. Hang in there, Jim. Hopefully you're seeing this show, and if you are, good luck to you.